Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat, and, well, it's very late, but I do have some interesting things to talk about. I've kind of brought it up on some of the other live streams, which, by the way, I'm sorry I didn't have any live stream yesterday. It got pretty crazy, but how do you like being a surf? How many of you know what that means? It doesn't mean you're going to be going surfing and that sort of thing. The reality of what that means is far worse. But I'm afraid that that's what we have in store if somebody doesn't do something about it very soon. There's a lot of noise out there trying to get you to go this way and that way, trying to influence you to do things that you probably shouldn't do. And I'm not talking about sins or that sort of thing, but things that seem like the right thing to do, but maybe they aren't actually the right thing to do. Maybe it's exactly what they want. Anyway, we'll be talking more about that coming up in just a second, so stick around. จะมีแม่บ้านเชื่อโบราณที่เลหากเลือกงัวดูหางแม้เลือกนางดูแม่นั่นแหละแน่เข้าที่บ้านเรือนสะอาดตา Oh, one last sip of the caffeine there before we get into this. As always, I do need to encourage each of you to join in the conversation. I get things wrong quite often, so do us all a favor and share your knowledge with us, because I'm sure that all of you have the correct information. Join in the conversation. Share it in the live chat if you happen to be catching us live, or by leaving your comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. I think you have to also hit that bell so it notifies you or whatever. I'm not a big fan of the notifications coming from the apps for reasons that I will say, but if you would like to get the notifications, be sure to select that. I guess if you're subscribed to the channel, you're probably getting notifications anyway, but that gives the extra help. And also, don't forget that the like button lives below this video. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Follow what she says and hit that thumbs up button. You can hit the thumbs down button if you prefer. Just do me a favor and leave a comment and let me know what it's all about. Anyway, without further delay, let's go ahead and get into this. I've mentioned a couple of times doing live streams this concept of elites and super elites and what the qualifications are if you fit into one of those categories. If you do, then that's great, because you know you're already in the club. If you don't, then the entire concept that we have here in the United States about, people always argue, you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, tell that to someone who's a true American and see. They're going to try. Don't tell me what can't be done. We love rags to riches stories, and for some reason, I guess there's not a lot of those being told lately. But maybe there is a reason for that. If this continues on the trajectory that we're on, there will be no more rags to riches stories. It will never happen again. If you're whatever class or whatever strata of society that you were born into, you will remain in that strata forever, because you will never be able to achieve the things or obtain the prerequisites to fit into these clubs, the elites and the super elites. Those prerequisites being very expensive college degrees and being in these circles. And, they seem to be moving just like what they've done with business. A lot of the smaller businesses are being gobbled up by these giant corporations or regulated to death. And then you end up with these giant super corporations, and nobody really has the ability or the opportunity to be able to rise up to their level. That's on purpose. They don't want to have competition. Well, they're going to do the exact same thing to you and me. We will not have access to that club. You will not be able to rise up through the ranks, which is something that has made the United States special, or at least I thought it did. I guess it did. Now they're trying to eliminate that. The ability to change your circumstances, to rise through the ranks of society and get to the top. Now, there's been a lot of criticism. I feel like if communists, for example, even communists, if they knew what was being put in place right now, the motives of these people at the top, I don't know who it is exactly. I don't know if it's the bankers. I don't know if it's the World Economic Forum or whatever, whoever it is that's pushing all of these policies and these things that are going on. If they really knew what they were doing, they wouldn't support the government right now. They wouldn't be like, oh, well, the government's doing our bidding right now. That's a trap, and it will be closed on them at some point. And their idea of this utopia that they would live in where everybody, there is no more class and all of that, that's not coming. That's not what is being set in motion here. They might think so, but they're nothing but useful idiots. And it should be equally terrifying for those of us on the other side who like the idea of being able to change your circumstances if you work hard enough. Those opportunities will be gone. And it's strange to see every nation on earth almost working together to achieve this. And it's clearer and clearer all the time that, these people at the top, they really don't care about your interests. And there's a lot of noise on the internet. This is the other side about the noise. We always think, like, you hear the crazy people, right, that are still wearing the masks and all of that stuff, the nut jobs that hate Donald Trump no matter what you say, for example. Even if, he's, getting us out of the wars, they still hate it. You look at them and you think, like, those morons are being manipulated. Those idiots, they're brain dead and they can't see that they're being manipulated on the internet by bots and whatnot and, the government or whatever it happens to be, intelligence agencies. What you may not realize is that you are also being manipulated. All the stuff on our side that everybody's thinking, and even the things that they don't think are crazy, when you see things happening and you throw your support into it, a lot of that is a manipulation. It's all part of the plan. And the last time I tried to talk about this particular topic, my video got struck down. I better be careful what I say. Otherwise, I guess this channel will go away and I'll just stop making this sort of content. But that is what's happening right now. This situation in Texas, I feel like it's a sort of a trap. We have this election coming up at the end of this year, and all we have to do is get to that election. There is no way in hell that these people are going to win. It's absolutely impossible. If we can just get Donald Trump back in there, at least he's full of flaws or whatever, but at the very least, he seemed to be interested in making the United States successful again. And that went against, I guess, all of their plans, because you can't have that. Everybody has to be equally miserable in order to go along with whatever the plans are that they have. Again, I have no idea. There's so many different things thrown around. There's George Soros thrown around. There's the Chinese that always seem to come up. The World Economic Forum, the World Bank, whatever it happens to be, the Federal Reserve, the monster from Jekyll Island. I don't know who's behind it. I don't know what group, but they all, it's not them. I think that everybody is working as sort of pawns in their game. And yeah, let's hope that we get Donald Trump for the very least reason, so that we can make sure that digital currency doesn't come about. We definitely don't want that. You don't want the government to have absolute control over your wallet. Just look at the kinds of things they're doing now. Do you really want those people to be in charge of what you can buy and what you can't buy? Let's see. I see some comments in here. Let's see. Hey, you all. Hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well, too. I'm glad it's not snowing. It's kind of cold, but not cold enough to snow. So I'll be grateful for that. It means that my daily life can go the way that it's supposed to go, and I can get work done. I would love to be able to hang out with my son all day, but it kind of prevents work from being done. So things are going well. Hopefully they're going well for you. Just... of course, besides this whole manipulation thing that's taking place, the noise on the internet. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me get to some more of these comments. Let's see. Ungrateful Peasant, most of the rags to riches stories are fake. They are. They certainly, there's a lot of them that are fake, but it's nice to be able to believe in something like that. And I happen to know some true rags to riches stories, which I can share in a moment. Let's see, Ungrateful Peasant again. A smart business owner might be able to acquire a couple million over a lifetime. Nobody comes out of nowhere and makes tens of millions. I knew a guy who had come over from China, and at the beginning of his time in the United States, he literally just had the clothes on his back. He came over and worked in restaurants, slept on the floor, I mean, whatever you want to imagine about like a rags to riches story, this one really is. He couldn't read, this guy. He literally came out of the slums in Fujian province, came to the United States, worked at restaurants. He got a pretty good grasp of the restaurant business, saved up all of his money that he could until the owner of the restaurant he worked at came into financial trouble and wanted to sell the business. The guy was okay, but the restaurant wasn't doing so well. So this guy took his savings, bought the restaurant from him, turned it around, bought another restaurant with the money he made from it, and he grew to having, tens of millions of dollars, and eventually with a business that supplied restaurants all across basically the Mountain West area of the United States. A really amazing story for someone like that. These rags to riches stories, they do exist. At least they did, But if these people have their way, there won't be any of that. And it won't be because, you couldn't think for yourself and figure things out and how to make a business. They will literally take it away from you. If you're in whatever, it's the whole idea of the you'll own nothing and be happy situation. When they digitize everything, I didn't know this, but did you know that they were putting together plans to digitize things like your auto title? The car, I just recently purchased a vehicle, and the title is digital. And the idea is that they're going to put it all on the blockchain, and everything can happen automatically. If they want to take your car, they'll be able to take your car. You won't have any sort of physical reminder that you own the car. They'll be able to take that from you without a second thought. And eventually, I imagine it's going to take on a sort of a subscription model where you're going to be, paying a monthly fee or whatever out of the wages or whatever you're allowed. And that's going to be probably just enough to cover your existence. It's a really bizarre world that we live in. I think back to when I was a kid. I used to, imagine what it would be like in the future. I was always fascinated with sci-fi and robots and that sort of thing in the future. I always imagined it this, kind of like the 80s sci-fi sort of, I guess, image of what the future would be. I never could have imagined this. I never could have imagined the way that it is. Maybe everything else, the modern technology certainly was in sci-fi movies, but this situation, I never would have imagined this. A true dystopian future is right over the horizon if we just let it happen, where they will take everything from us. And I don't know what their plan is. I guess, some of them have made clear their plans at the World Economic Forum. But like I said, I don't know if they're really the ones behind everything, or if they're just like the punching bag that everybody gets to have so they can punch it around like, the World Economic Forum and George Soros, when really it's somebody else entirely that's putting this together. So, yeah, their concept is that there'll be a lot of useless people because there won't be jobs due to automation and AI, I guess is what they think, even though I personally think it's going to lead to a massive increase in all kinds of things. There'll be plenty of work for people to do. It might not be the same as we have traditionally thought of work being, but I think there will be plenty there if they just leave it alone. But their idea is that there's going to be a lot of useless eaters, and they use the term, and I know it comes from the Nazis, but that's what they say, and they'll just basically put them in a room, let them have drugs. They're already pushing a lot of that. I don't know how you feel about the legalization of all kinds of drugs that have been, illegal as long as I can remember. They'll just let people have drugs, sit in a room playing video games or whatever, and they'll, I don't know what they'll give them, like just enough to survive. And that'll be that. That'll be the end of it. Useless eaters taken care of. They'll feed them bug cakes. While the elites and super elites get rations of meat and that sort of thing that they're trying to make absolutely out of reach for regular people. I went to the store to buy steaks. I brought this up just the other day, to buy some steaks to cook, because every once in a while I like to eat some steak. I'm sure not everybody likes to eat it, but I've gotten pretty good at making them. It was $50 for 2 steaks. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they're right now making it out of reach. they're rationing it, and there's no reason. It's not like there's a shortage of cows. I'm pretty sure that the cows are all still around. So they're using other means, I guess, to make sure that it's more difficult. Let's see. I worked hard, retired at 40, self-employed. That's Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Now, retirement, don't be fooled. It probably doesn't mean the end of work. Just different kinds of work. Let's see. Ungrateful Peasant. The wife and I are retired as well. I went back to work because I got bored. Yeah, that's what I fear would happen. You'll get, well, I finally made it. I'm retired. And then you look around and you're like, so what do we do now? And your spouse just looks at you and says, I don't know. And you're like, well, you know what? I'm gonna look for a job. That's probably what would happen. Yeah, it kept working. Yep. Mutant Riff, sounds like we are going back to the company store strategy. You can only buy what they let you buy from the company store with the company money. I'm afraid it'll be even worse than that. You know, at least then you would have the ability to pick up and leave. I mean, if you manage to have some family or something, you could be like, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go somewhere else. They won't even let you do that. You're going to live. I heard somebody say this, and it kind of alarmed me. As somebody who likes to travel and go to different places, they're like, well, actually, I think it was on the Glenn Beck program. It was something to the effect that after 2025, if we don't get this on track, wherever you are is where you will stay. And I can't live that way myself. I have always moved around a lot. And I have family, you know, in other parts of the world now. I can't imagine being stuck and having them be stuck, but I guess they want to get rid of what they call frivolous travel. I don't think that I could wrangle my way into their circles of elites and super elites. So I guess I'm out of luck as far as that's concerned. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully all of this is just nonsense, and in a few years we look back and say, well, it wasn't that bad after all. But I'm afraid that if we don't get this under control, maybe it will be. It's kind of terrifying to see all of that. Let's see. I'm working on starting another business, doing loan signings and insurance inspections while I write. Yeah, fun stuff. I wish... That reminds me. Oh, I skipped I'll come back to that just a second. But in China, I always heard how the United States was the best place to do business, and I always believed that. And maybe in some circumstances it is, but I just remember doing it in China, and it was like, okay, one day you don't have the business, and the next day you do. Really, really simple. I mean, it's complicated, but you don't have to even deal with the complications. You go to someone who knows. Anyway, I don't know if I ever would have gotten started with anything had I just been in the United States the whole time. But yeah, it's hearing about all those insurance things and such. It just, loans. No to loans. I didn't even have to get a loan. That's the amazing thing there. I didn't even have to bother with loans or any of that. I was able to do it without. I can't imagine even starting a little convenience store or anything here in the United States without, finding something to back it up. It'd be way too expensive. Let's see. South Florida Sunshine, we will never have our attention drawn to those really in charge for this. Yeah, I'm concerned about some of the things that are happening here in the country, like the situation in Texas. I think that they would really love for some sort of a conflict to break out, something to happen. And that's exactly what they're hoping for. And I don't know what to say, because it seems like the right thing to do would be to go over to Texas and stand with them and absolutely, but I don't think that we want a civil war. There's a lot of people that even here, expressed opinions about, breaking up of the country or secession or what do they call it, peaceful divorce. There won't be any peaceful divorce. And I can't imagine the chaos, the hell that would be unleashed on the planet if that were to happen. Right now, the United States still has enough strength, even with Joe Biden in the presidency, to hold people back. Anyone who has ambitions of expanding their realm of influence, who might not be friendly when it comes to, human rights and that sort of thing, they're held back. They're held at bay by the strength of our military and the resolve of this country and the money that we have. If that were to suddenly fall apart, then there would be nothing. Of course, Taiwan would be invaded overnight, and probably not just Taiwan. These big countries would just gobble up everything around them. The former Soviet bloc countries, right now you can say, like, well, Putin has no interest in expanding into Georgia or whatever places you can think of. But believe me, if he didn't have to worry about the United States potentially standing in his way, but he absolutely would. And so this idea of peaceful divorce, I think, is a really bad one. And beyond that, I also heard that if that did happen, and I'm sure that Joe Biden would just take away all our rights and declare, some kind of an emergency, and overnight you'd have no more rights at all. Who knows what he would do? He might even try and stop the election. I don't know. Make it very difficult to vote. I don't know what they would do, but it's definitely not a road that we want to go down. It's just a little bit, and then we'll be to that election, and then, then we'll be all right. Hopefully. I cannot imagine a world where Joe Biden wins. Of course, I couldn't imagine him winning before, but I guess that COVID came along and, changed a lot of things. Changed a lot of things for me, that's for sure. Let's see. Ungrateful peasant. I'm skipping a few more here. I am semi-retired. I only work 40 hours a week. Yeah, 40 hours a week. That makes me think of that movie, Dumb and Dumber. They they get fired from their jobs, and they're like looking at jobs, and the guy's like, there's no jobs around here. And the other guy, yeah, not unless you want to work 40 hours a week. Oh man, if only, right? Boy, you think that you get away from a traditional job and you're going to work less, and then you end up working even more. But 40 hours a week, boy, I remember overtime and all of that. Work your shift, go home. Those are good times, actually. Let me see. South Florida sunshine, or am I skipping? Oh, here we go. Ungrateful peasant just sat around the house not doing what I wanted to do. Like, now what? Yeah, that's what happens, I'm sure that you get to that point. Hopefully by then, when you really retire, it's at a point where you can no longer move. Well, hopefully you don't get to that point. Hopefully you're able to move all the way through your life. But, I physically cannot work now. So good thing retirement came just in time. Let's see, South Florida sunshine. I thought about becoming a notary, but people in Florida be crazy. So unsure what they would need me to sign off on, and don't want to get called into court and in trouble for any criminal nonsense. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be putting my name on stuff in that case either. That sounds kind of dangerous. Let's see, ungrateful peasant. COVID ruined our retirement plans of traveling the world. After we spent 20 years traveling the world for work, we wanted to travel to the places that we wanted to go. COVID, oh man. Boy, we had all kinds of plans about the time that COVID came along. We were looking at buying a restaurant in China, of course. We had another business that was going. It was kind of exciting, an exciting time. And then, COVID happened. Even when they were erecting walls in the town where we were stuck, I was still thinking, this will be gone in, a month or two, and then we can get back to things. And here we are. It's now 2024, and nothing has gone back to the way it was. I certainly don't have a restaurant in China, and at this point, having one might not be the best thing. It definitely changed everything. It's I don't like to think too much about how much it's wrecked or what it's changed. I feel grateful to have what we have, and I guess I can live with that, and not feel too bad about what might have been. Every now and again I think about it, what might have been if the COVID stuff didn't come along. But I try not to think about that. I try to think of other things like, hey, maybe there's like I'll win the lottery and this channel will blow up all of a sudden and I'll make money on YouTube. That doesn't seem to be a possibility, but you never know. Hey, guys, share the video out, send it out so I can make money on here instead of staying up late at night just talking for no reason at all. That would be nice. Let's see. Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Jay, you must be rolling in money with all those ads you got. Oh, I wish. I think that, let's see, I had a really good video just the other day, and I looked at how much it made, and it was like 20 cents. Now, really good, of course, that's relative to my channel. What counts as really good here is not the same as really good for somebody else. But YouTube ad revenue apparently has been down across the board to the point that it's causing the big channels, big names to quit. We talked a little bit about that on another live stream. There's a lot of these big YouTube people that are quitting, and they've said all kinds of things in their goodbye farewell videos or whatever, like, oh, I just got tired of the stress and blah, 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 and now I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to, devote so much time to it. I know exactly what happened because one of them spilled the beans. So it's very stressful. If you want to be successful, apparently, on YouTube, then you have to be absolutely devoted to it. I mean, it's a full-time job, maybe even more than a full-time job. You're, writing stories and you're filming and you're editing, and you have to hire people at some point if you want it to work out. You have to keep to a schedule. That's the main thing. I think the secret to success on here, it's probably why I'm so unsuccessful on here. You have to keep to the schedule. I mean, religiously. Posting at exactly the same time, every time, on time. And I'm sure a lot of these people had been doing that, and they'd been making a lot of money off of YouTube. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. Like 2/3 of the money is gone. And they're still doing the same amount of work, this really stressful schedule, and it's hard on them. And all of a sudden, they're making like 1/3 of what they were making before. And I'm sure that I don't care how successful you are. If that happens, you're going to feel like, whoa, what am I doing? I'm putting in all this stress and they do this to me. When I'm carrying the weight of the whole platform. I'm sure a lot of them are thinking along those lines, and they're like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. They make a video saying like, too stressful and just don't want to do it anymore. That's what it is. The money went away. Now, they were still probably making enough money that for anyone of us watching, or talking on here, it probably would have been no problem at all. Like, oh, I'll take that. But if you're used to making 3 times that amount and all of a sudden, it's gone, yeah, it probably not a very fun thing. Like, I don't feel like doing this. That's it. I'm done. If that's how it is. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on with YouTube, but maybe the ad money is just dried up. I think it has. I heard a lot about, a lot of companies have cut back on their advertising, and well, when it comes to the internet and social media, I totally understand. It's all fake. I mean, if you put advertisements out there, it's crazy. So, I've worked in sales in the past, and I kind of know how the numbers work. And like, okay, you're going to get this much of a response from X number of people that you've contacted. Well, not on social media. It's they tell you that it's the best and the only way to go, but in reality, it just doesn't add up. And I think it's probably something that Elon Musk discovered when he purchased Twitter. It's all fake. Most of the accounts are fake, which is something that I've encountered. Another, going back to this idea of the noise. So, if I make a video, sometimes I'll go over to Reddit and I will post it in one of the subreddits just because I think it's an appropriate fit for something. And there's one of them especially that's like this. It's a big subreddit, but immediately it starts to pick up all kinds of attention, and then I see it gets shared out once, and immediately other people come and it gets downvoted into oblivion. And I guess what's going on is there are people there that if something doesn't fit the narrative that they want to push, they will share it off to their group and they'll come and shut it down. And they have things like that all over social media. It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on all of those. They watch for it, and if they see something that they don't agree with or that doesn't fit what they want, the message they want to be floating around out there, they'll come and shut it down. Now on YouTube, it doesn't work quite the same way. So they have other ways of making sure, they just kind of manipulate the algorithm a little bit to make sure it doesn't get out there. There's any number of metrics that they can fluctuate or mess with. Like, let's say you release a video and you put a lot of work into it, but it has a political message that doesn't align with whatever it is that they want to do. All they have to do is send a whole bunch of bots that click on it once and click off and ruin one of the metrics on any number of the metrics on the video, and it will never see the light of day. Outside of the few people that actually subscribe to you or whatever and go and look at it. So if you're wondering how they can do it, and because it's not, transparent, you can't see what's actually happening, you'll never know for sure what they're doing, but they can do it all the time. And it's some of this can be done by AI. If they flag your account, something which you wouldn't be able to see, let's call it a shadow ban, the AI will watch for your stuff to come up, and it'll just do that to you automatically, and you'll never, ever grow. Now, that's not necessarily true. I suppose if you wanted to invest your own money into growing your channel and advertising elsewhere and doing everything you could to find new subscribers who would come in and, would be interested in your message, I guess you could probably grow it. I should try. Maybe I should try that myself. I'll go out and advertise, spend a little bit of money somewhere. Of course, it better be something local where you know for sure that the advertisements are going to do something. Otherwise, I guess they could shut it down somewhere else, assuming that you're important enough to be shut down. But that's how it works. That's how they can control the message on a platform like YouTube. So it says they have all these users. You don't know. I mean, you don't know who's clicking on your video and looking at it. You have no idea if that's a real person or if it's a bot that has been sent there to destroy your metrics and basically shut your video down. Let's say, hey, I see Devil Dog here. What do we got here? Oh man, there's a whole bunch of comments on here since I've been just talking away. Let's see, South Florida Sunshine. I always said YouTube should be a secondary, like you're advertising for a side business. Kevin from Epic Gardening did it right, and he too is shifting his focus to the business that are fed from YouTube. Let's see, the more you make, the more time it requires for you to stay at that level because you need the views. And views, too, are down. Some folks are working 2 jobs or more. See, Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Love my shadow ban. Wear as a badge. Yeah, it's so frustrating to think about that. You see somebody with a good message and you wonder yourself, why aren't they growing? Why is, and it's because of something like that. They just get shut down and, it doesn't grow. They can't use the excuse that I have, it's just my face. But it's kind of difficult. But, oh well, I guess it's the world that we live in right now. And as they say, it's a private company that can do whatever it wants. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating when you see your values kind of manipulated in a way to use against you, but I guess you can't do very much about that. Let's see. South Florida Sunshine. Yes, you getting this live sat on possibly. You said COVID too many times. They getting their ad money during your live and trying to push your viewers to leave. 3 ad breaks, 6 ads. Wow, man, they when it comes to the advertisements, I've mentioned this before, you have several options. There's one where you can have like a really aggressive ads where it's just tons of ads or whatever, or you can have like almost none. And then there's, the whatever, like in the middle, like not aggressive, just enough where, in my thought, that would mean like maybe there'll be an ad that shows up every once in a while. It's not like, right now I'm staring at this and it says we have 7 people in, watching the show. I can't imagine why YouTube would want to put 6 advertisements already in front of just as many people almost as what they have. That's crazy. What kind of, just imagine being the person that's buying that advertising. How would you feel if, we put it in front of, 7 people. It's like, wow, is that what I'm, no wonder people aren't willing to spend money on ads. Now, of course, send the ads to me. Fine. I'm not really seeing much out of it, but it's crazy to me that they would do that. I've seen them do that sort of thing on some bigger channels, but I didn't know that they would do that here. I wish that it meant that I was getting more money, but believe me, the amount of money that I would see out of it, for one, I'm not going to actually get any of it for a long time because you have to get up to $100 before you can actually get paid. And this video might eventually reach the epic level of 20 cents or something like that, depending on how well it does. Let's see. Truth is first, casualty in war. Yeah, that's what I worry about. If they decide that, some of the conflict situations that people are being led into, that's exactly what would happen. They would shut down the media. Boy, my microphone is moving around here a little bit here. Let's see. Ungrateful Peasant. Another thing that happened during COVID was all the content creators that I watched stopped making content and put in 3 times as many ads in their videos. They started doing stupid stuff like prescriptions boxes and reading the news every day. Yeah, that sounds like me, except for the prescription boxes. I don't really have any of that. But as far as the news, I mean, yeah, I don't even like the news. And yet I still find myself kind of pulled in. Now, I will say this. I've mentioned it briefly on other live streams. The other kinds of videos that I have made before, I'm still making them, but they're on different channels. I decided to divide that up because, you get people that want to hear about traveling in some other place, or they want to hear about this or that or a different kind of video, and then they get on and it's just this live stream talking about politics and the news, and they don't like that. So I still have the other stuff, though. It's on another channel called The Expat. That's where I'm putting it. If you are one of those that likes to watch travel videos or learn about different places, I wouldn't call my videos travel videos exactly, but if you want to learn about other places, I guess you can go there, and assuming you can find the channel. I don't know. It's got like 5 subscribers. But yeah, I've made this channel. I guess at some point I can put up a link for it. I wanted to wait. It only has like 3 videos on it. I'm eventually going to move a lot more on there. I've got every week I'll put something up. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of old clips and videos that I can put together about traveling now that I'm in the United States, especially if they make it so you can't go anywhere. I guess I'll just start making videos about West Virginia. I don't know what I'll do at that point, but that's where I'm going to put that stuff. So anyone who doesn't like to hear this stuff, the other stuff is still there. I'm still making it. It's taking a lot of effort, of course, because, there's not always time in the day to edit a giant video full of, massive clips. I'm lucky that my computer can still handle this stuff. I'm amazed. Back in 2019, actually, just before the COVID situation, I got this MacBook Pro, and this thing is a beast. I mean, it is held up. I guess I never appreciated that before. I'm always like, well, whatever, it's got whatever the specs are inside, processor, doesn't make a difference. It does. If you spend the money on something like that, I guess it does make a difference in the end, because I have this computer and I still have it all this time later, and it's still working great. It still can handle everything. And I would have had to buy quite a few computers in the meantime if I had gone the other way. At this point, I don't know if the other computer would be still working. It probably wouldn't even be working anymore. Probably be past the time when it can actually be updated, the way that Windows is going these days. Yeah, every time, Windows, what are they on now? Is it Windows 11 still, or are they on to something else at this point? But anyway, this thing is held up, and I'm really, really glad that I got it. It's been an amazing thing. So yeah, I'm still putting together. It's very intensive, memory intensive stuff sometimes with these big files when you're making the videos. But I'm still plugging away. Let's see. I started another channel as well because of the shadow ban on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the other channel, it has really, really high click-through rate on the videos. The videos appear to do very well, but YouTube doesn't actually send them. Maybe it's because there's only 3 videos on the channel. So I got to wait until it actually gets somewhere. But this channel is monetized, so it always kind of hurts a little bit, when I put the videos on another channel that's not monetized, because I'm thinking like, it doesn't. Even if there was a chance that the video could really take off, then I won't see anything from it. Whereas on this channel, of course, if it's on this channel, it'll never take off anyway. But there's always that thought like, oh man, am I losing out on this because I'm putting it on the other channel? But I think I really need to do that, to separate it anyway, because like I said, people will get on looking for one thing and they'll encounter something else and they'll be like, oh, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't want this. So, yeah, I'll put the other stuff there. And if they want both, they can have both, I'll just advertise. Well, I've got to be careful what I say on the other channel, because if there's any overlap, then they will shut it down, if there's any chance of it doing anything. Let's see, South Florida Sunshine, I just changed my name. Should have started another channel. Oh, well. Well, there's a reason why I made the other channel. It's, different content. It's different stuff. So I feel like somebody who's interested in this is probably not, well, they might be interested in the videos about living abroad or whatever, but they may just as well not be interested. And then when they encounter the different stuff, it can be confusing. So despite the extra work, I have put together that other channel. Let's see. Perhaps YouTube charges advertisers by the size of the number of viewers. 7 viewers, they charge less than 100 viewers. I'm not sure how it works. It's a really strange setup. I kind of know how it works. So when you have your channel, you'll have, what do they call it? RPM, not RPM. That's cars, but it's like how much your channel is worth per click on an advertisement. So it's based on that. So the advertisers, let's say, I don't know why my channel, it's like it says it has a really high number sometimes, but it doesn't seem to be the case in the end. I don't know. So people would be really frustrated, I would think, based on the number that they give me for the click-through price or whatever it is. But yeah, it's and it depends on the content too. Whatever it is that you're putting out, if it's something that advertisers like, I think that plays more of a role. You would think it would be about viewership, right? So if you have like a giant channel with millions of viewers, you would think that would mean you have, a lot more money potential for advertisers. I mean, in a normal person's mind, in a normal world, that would be the way you would think of it. But they base it on the type of content. So if you're making like a video game channel, let's say, where you play video games, that's not worth the same amount as somebody making, I don't know, a Mr. Beast kind of channel, or somebody who's doing documentaries of some kind. And then also the type of the format, obviously if you're making shorts videos, the little dumb videos that everybody seems to make. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it dumb. I can't stand the vertical style video. I've ever since it was always like the idiot with the cell phone recording that way. And anybody that knew anything about film was like, dude, just turn the thing on its side, for heaven's sake. But no, that's the way it is now. I guess you want to record vertical style videos. Even in the editing software, they now have, we support the vertical style now. It's like, no, I just can't. It's kind of like when I went to China the first time and they're telling me like spit the bones on the floor on the table, and I just could not do it. It was ingrained in me that that would be horrible table manners, to spit the bones onto the table. Like, really, you just want me to spit them on the table? Yes. I'm like, no. Now I'm painting a terrible picture of Chinese table manners, but you'd have to know the kind of food that they eat to understand what I'm talking about. But as an American, your first experience, it's like, I can't do that. I just can't. There's no way I can do that. Not in a restaurant, for heaven's sake. But yeah, it's all very convoluted. I think that live streams are also not worth as much as if you put, the long form stuff. It's weird. Cost per mile, yeah. Basically, they charge cost per 1,000 views. Yeah, and depending on the content, depending on what you put out, it can be different. And like I said, you might think Somebody who gets 1 million views is, theirs is worth more, but it's not necessarily the case because it's, whatever reason they have, I don't know, but you would think so, but it's not. Well, let me see. Almost 5,000 slipping through swamp. Yeah. Let's see. South Florida sunshine, maybe, but they also know no one likes watching those ads. Yeah. Oh man, I hate the whatever the new style of ad is. It used to be like, okay, whatever ad comes on, there's only two, and I can usually just like wait 5 seconds and skip. The new thing is, it's like 30 seconds or something, and forces you to watch like 5 different advertisements for some nonsense that I have no interest in buying. What was the? I'm hearing like medications. That's the new thing that I hear is medication stuff. There's some kind of new. I think it's for COVID. It's like I can't remember the name of it, but it's from one of those big pharmaceutical companies. And it sounds like it does basically, it's an antiviral medication is all it is. Like it stops it from, spreading or not spreading, but multiplying in your body. And it's like, well, isn't that what the other thing did? I don't know. I guess I'm not a doctor. What do I know? But it starts to make you wonder, is that why they didn't want that other medicine getting out there? I don't know. But is it because they want to make money, I guess? Let's see. I did not put my full attention into my old channel, still barely can, so I have not adhered to the niche thing. Still trying to decide. It's my life, but not lifestyle. Yes. I'm going to have to check that out. These other channels that are on here. All I get is garbage on YouTube. Whenever I get on there, it's always just some kind of like the stuff that it recommends to me. If it's not, little kid shows like Peppa Pig or something, then it's something that I would never really want to watch anyway. So I'm going to have to check out all of your channels. I know that Devil Dog has some good stuff. Ungrateful Peasant gets on and does some pretty good live streams, but I'm going to have to check out some of the other channels that I have something worthwhile turning on. I can't stand watching regular television. I think I got used to not watching it at all because I was in China and, while I could understand some of what it was saying in the TV shows, they weren't really interesting to me. Like I'm not interested in the life story of whatever communist leader, not Mao. I'm sure that Mao has an interesting story, even if he is a villain, but, what was it? Deng Xiaoping. How can you take a story about someone that could be interesting, right? I mean, he got exiled and put to work in a tractor factory at some point during the Cultural Revolution, and instead you turn it into something so boring that even the people that support communism and the Communist Party are like, this is terrible. This is the worst television ever. I mean, the other stuff that they used to put on, like, well, we'll just throw in here's this band of communist freedom fighters that have endless bullets and bombs to blow up Japanese soldiers. That was another popular staple. I guess when people got tired of the drama about Deng Xiaoping, his show, then they just switch back to that. Depending on which way the government leanings are going, it's like this time they're having trouble with Japan, so we're going to blow up the Japanese in the show. Then it's, Taiwan, so we're going against nationalist forces or whatever it happens to be. The only ones I never saw in there were Americans. And I guess they never actually fought much of it. Well, they did in Korea. They did fight us in Korea. Never forget the chosen few. But, other than that, I guess not. Maybe it was just a bad idea. The United States is, pretty powerful. You don't want to go messing around with them. Japan only has a defense force, and Taiwan is just a little island. So we can make videos about blowing up their stuff, but when it comes to big people, we don't do that. Anyway, that was Chinese television. But like I said, I couldn't understand. Boy, we went way off on a tangent there, but I just don't watch it. The news, I can't stand turning on the news because it's always nonsense or boring or you know what's going to happen somewhere in the world. People are getting blown up and there's wars, and that's usually the news. Excuse me. So I just don't watch TV. But when I do turn on something, I'll usually get on YouTube or something like that and try to find something interesting, but it doesn't always work out. So Long story short, I guess I'm going to have to find out what all of your channels are about. Let's see. I hate the vertical videos. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh, man. Like I said, when I start learning about, I mean, if you're doing photography, sure. But video, I mean, look at your TV. Look at your television and, how does that work? There's a lot of unused space when you do that. I guess they're trying to make videos for the cell phone, but I thought, you just turn it sideways, right? It tells you what I know. I guess I'm just getting too old here. Shorts got me subs, then YouTube took them. Oh man, yeah, the shorts. I made a couple of shorts, and then I got tired of it because it's like I don't like doing this. I don't like the style. It's just kind of dumb. Why is YouTube trying to compete with TikTok anyway? Let TikTok have all the short little videos that they want. And YouTube can take all of the long form good stuff, the ones where people are actually putting the effort in to make really, really good quality content as best they can anyway. At least people are trying to make an effort. But I guess that tells you what I know. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to compete with anything. But now we're going to go to 10-second videos or something. Andy Foxy, glad to see you here. Always. Let's see. What else have we got here? Oh, take a deep breath. Yes, what is up with the suggestion in the last year? Yeah, oh man. It's all the algorithm. I remember when that first began. I remember way back, I think it was on Netflix, when they first started having their, like the streaming service. I remember that was revolutionary, and they had a couple of movies on there, and it asked you a bunch of questions about what kind of movies you like. And that way it could recommend them to you, more videos like that. Boy, whatever it's turned into is terrible. You never hear about anything new. It's all the same. Like, oh, you like to watch this? Here's more of this. And more until you can't stand it anymore. But never anything fun. The algorithm always works against the fun stuff. So you can't watch, there's aliens on the moon or something like that. That's been buried. But we'll throw in all this political stuff so you can just suffocate or go crazy, which is what I think that they're trying to do, trying to drive everybody crazy. Fill your heads with all kinds of ideas about Civil War and World War III and push you in different directions, push the other people in another direction, whatever they have to do to drive you crazy so you don't pay attention to what they're doing. Let's see, I can't watch TV either. Yeah, it's all just garbage. Oh, man, and the propaganda part. Oh, as soon as I get on, what was it, Law and Order or something that had an episode just come out? I don't watch this stuff, and this is why. So this lady gets raped, and then she's like, she doesn't want the person that did it to go to jail, and they're talking to the guy, and they're like, I made a mistake, and it's like, I don't know a world where anybody talks like this, If somebody's the kind of person that makes that kind of mistake, it's not like you can have a feel-good moment about it, like, oh, they're, sorry, they learned a real-life lesson and they're not going to do that again. Now they're going to be a good guy. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure we want people like that to go to prison and stay there so that they don't hurt other people. I don't know what kind of a message that was trying to share, but that was crazy. I would hope that that's a wake-up call to regular people, like, whoa, what's going on here? No, we don't want to feel sorry for people that do that. I don't care what color of skin or whatever they have. That's a bad thing. There's no redeeming it. Let's see. I got caught up in some of these Chinese romance dramas. Realized I was just watching China's soap opera. Yeah, those. Oh man, my wife, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law. All of that, you should, if you could see them getting together and watching those, they're like the Qing dynasty or Ming dynasty, ladies in the court, the king's concubines or something, and there's all this drama. Boy, you see them get caught up in that. Boy, they'd probably angry with me for mentioning that. That's what all the Chinese. I go to anybody's house and the people are watching this stuff. But yeah, it's always kind of funny to me because I'll come in and they'll be like sobbing or something. Usually my mother-in-law, because of whatever's going on. They have other dramas that are kind of interesting, I guess. There's one that I especially found amusing just because it was so unrealistic. So there's this like countryside family, and somehow everything goes wrong for these people. It's like you'd think that after a couple of episodes, they'd run out of things that can go wrong for them. But no, there's always a new tragedy of some kind. It's like, I'm afraid all the people in the family will die, and everything. At some point, I guess they're careful not to do that. But any kind of tragedy is going to happen, and that But my mother-in-law watches that stuff, and it's always like, at some point you'd feel like you'd run out of tragedies, but no, they don't, and it just keeps going. But they love tragic stories. They absolutely love that stuff over there. Anything that's tragic, you get any good Chinese story from history or anything, it's only the ones that have tragedy. The good emperor ends up dying or something, or the new emperor has this brother that was the emperor, and he takes him in and he writes this sad poem about how, he can't be free or something. And then they execute him, and there's all these tragedies. You know what? If you watch any of the stories, like even Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that's a movie that I think a Chinese movie a lot of people are familiar with. It ends and it's tragic. In the end, who's happy, The lady jumps off the mountain. I guess she's flying away. I don't know. But the guy dies, never gets to be with the lady. Always tragedy. There's another one, Hero. I really like that one. Good kung fu movie. If you ever want to check out an interesting one, especially for cinematography, if you really like that sort of thing, it's a beautiful movie to watch. But in the end, the hero dies, and that's just the way it is in Chinese stories. If you can't have a happy ending, you just can't. Chinese people probably argue with me, but then I would challenge them to name one story where it ends happily. Because it's always tragedy, and they love it. They can't deny it. They love those tragic stories. Let's see. I watched them with English subtitles to no Mandarin or other Chinese dialects spoken here. Yeah, it's that'd be kind of the way that I would have to look at it. But I get my entertainment out of it, I suppose, when they're watching those. Let's see. Hubby turns TV on, but yep, propaganda machine. Turn on MSNBC. The only news I ever watch is NBC nightly news. Occasionally, I'll turn it on and see what's going on, but you don't get old Lester Holt on there or something. Let's see. Mine was Ski Utah. Don't ski, ain't going to Utah. Oh man, my son learned to ski. I guess, has it been a couple of years now, or has it been 1 year? I'm not sure. He picked it up so fast, I couldn't believe it. In France, it's a lot cheaper to go skiing, apparently, than it is here in the United States. So we had him skiing, and I was very impressed with how well he learned. I remember I was going there, and, there's his little class, and they've got, like, the kids coming down. And then one of the ladies comes out and, like, your son, she's got a thick accent, but she's like, your son, he's not here. The instructor took him up there, and she's like pointing way up on the mountain. I'm like, whoa. And sure enough, he was skiing down the mountain. He seems to still be pretty good at it. In China, we went to this indoor skiing place, and he just was skiing and skiing and skiing, and his cousin tried it and kept falling down. It was like, this isn't fun if you don't let him have a chance to learn. But I'm proud of him. He picked it up pretty quick. But I feel like if I lived in a place out west where they had, really good skiing, I'd probably be broke because I'd end up spending all the money on skiing because it's super expensive. Let's see. One I watched, Everyone Gets Poisoned because one character always knows the cure. She merged, and was reborn into another girl's life and fell in the same water. There's always those kinds of stories too. They're tragic stories, I remember even in my wife's hometown, there was a girl that drowned in some water, and now, that's like a cursed place, and you have to be careful because if you go over there, it's you never know. You might get pulled in by some unseen force or something. For being communists and atheists and all that, they sure have a lot of beliefs in ghosts. I always found that remarkable. That's like the Communist Party. They're atheists, but they're still going to fortune tellers. They're still doing all this stuff. It's kind of amusing. But, yeah. Let's see, but on YouTube they show them out of order, so it drives me crazy trying to follow this. Yeah, that would drive me crazy as well. Let's see. Oh, I see it's getting late. A bunch of people jumping off here. How long have I been talking? An hour. Holy smoke. I better get off of here. Hey, guys, it's been a lot of fun talking. I probably better get to sleep if I can. And hopefully you guys aren't up too late. One last time, if you guys would make sure you don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the future videos. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff. And don't forget where the like button lives down below the video. I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.